You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 24th meeting for the LaPorte County Planning Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll give it to you afterwards. Yep,
We're going to call tonight's meeting to order for Tuesday, June 24th for the LaPorte County Plan Commission, and we're going to ask Eric to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic for which one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ashley, please do roll call.
Betty Beatty.
Present.
Steve Hollifield.
Present.
Mark Martin.
Present.
Joe Tolsky.
Present.
Harold Parker.
Present.
Andy Kilpatrick.
Present.
John Carr.
Here.
John Malushin.
Present.
Jimmy Pressel.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to have a motion to entertain the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve tonight's agenda.
Second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. May I ask for an approval of the minutes for this evening's meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. As we know this evening, we have no petitions before us this evening. So we're going to move right forward to the old business. And before we get started on that, for this evening's discussion, as we know that it's the public hearing of the updated solar ordinance draft. Is that better? Is that any better? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. We do have a little bit bigger of a crowd this evening, but we'd like to keep a few things in mind that tonight is only for the solar ordinance updates. That's all this is. There will not be any discussion on any hearsay or anything that people might have had heard, any projects or companies or anything that they've heard of. But before we start anything up this evening, just for the record, I'd like to put on record that if there's any members that feel that they can't take part of this discussion, you need to recuse yourself this evening. So if there are no conflicts of interest, you are more than welcome to remain here as a member of the Plan Commission. Such as we've had people discuss tenant farmers. We feel the need to have the attorney to make sure that this is addressed at this time, that we have that on record if we feel that anyone does have any conflict or there are no conflicts for this evening. I just wanted to get that out there for everyone to understand to begin with. Okay? So also a few things before we get started. We do have remonstrators that are for or against our discussion for this evening. We're not here to discuss any particular project or company that may be here this evening. We're going to ask that everyone please be considerate, no rudeness, no interrupting. We are going to have a timer. If you're up here to just kind of discuss your feelings, we're okay with that. But just remember, we don't want any redundancy. We're going to allow you 3 minutes. If there are any groups that have set up something with an attorney possibly or a spokesperson, we're going to allow them a little bit longer time. So but please don't take advantage of that opportunity that we're going to give you. We might ask that you might move on. There might be some Plan Commission members that might have a question for you that you might want to address. But please remember, Ashley has got the timer that she's going to be running, and she can be wicked with it. So keep that in mind. So thank you for your time. We're going to ask when you do come to the podium to please state your name and address for the record. And please address the Plan Commission and not the audience. So thank you for this evening, and let's have an informative discussion. And remember, once again, we're only here for the ordinance changes. Thank you. So whoever would like to go first, please step up, state your name and address. Thank you.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay? My name's Nathan Bogle. Excuse me, sir. Sure. Can you say the words we're now having our public hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. We are now beginning our public hearing. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Attorney.
All right. My name's Nathan Vogel. I live at 54744 Winding Brook Drive in Mishawaka, Indiana, 46545. I'm a industry and solar veteran here in Indiana. I've been in the solar industry for 20 years. Worked for a solar EPC and development company here in Indiana for 20 years. And we've been working in LaPorte County planning projects for the past 5 years, both EPC, which is engineering, procurement, construction, and development of projects.
Excuse me for just a minute.
Sure.
This is only supposed to be for LaPorte County citizens, correct?
Right, we're only addressing the changes in the ordinance. It's the only thing before us.
Already said that.
What's that?
He's from Mishawaka.
I live in Mishawaka, Indiana. I don't think that matters, does it?
I don't think it matters where he lives.
Say that, we've had people from here, from
County
Indianapolis.
resident.
No.
No, you don't have to be county resident to speak.
All right, thank you.
Who did you say? Did you represent somebody? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I represent Innovative Solar.
Okay.
We're a developer in EPC in Indiana. And when we do projects in local communities, we bring a lot of jobs to those local communities and to Indiana. So this is important to us, being in LaPorte County and in Indiana, to bring local jobs through the solar industry. And with that said, I would like to make the following statement. As an interested party in this proposed ordinance amendment on the advice of council, and to assure that this is a fair and transparent proceeding, we request to have this issue on the record and in the minutes of the public hearing, pursuant to section 27-06C of the LaPorte County zoning ordinance and Indiana law and Indiana code 36-7-4-223C. A member of the Plan Commission is disqualified and may not participate in a hearing of the Plan Commission concerning this zoning decision if the member has a direct or indirect financial interest in the outcome of the zoning decision. Further, Indiana law in Indiana Code 36-7-4-223B states that members of the legislative body may not participate as a member in the Plan Commission or the legislative body in a hearing or recommendations concerning a legislative act described in IC 36-7-4-1016. If the member has a direct or indirect financial interest, Indiana Code Section 36-7-4-1016 F3 lists as one of those legislative acts adopting, rejecting, or amending a zoning ordinance. The indirect or direct financial interest in this proposed ordinance is expressly prohibited by state law and needs to be included in the record of this public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you a lawyer?
No, sir. I work for a solar company.
But you did a lawyer thing there.
Is that a lawyer thing?
It damn straight is. You said all them. Yeah, I just want to know.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else for or against the ordinance?
All right. Good evening, board. My name is Corey Campbell. I live at 510 Grass Fork Court, Wanata, Indiana. And I'm coming before you as both LaPorte County resident and the business manager of Labor's Local 81. Labor's Local 81 has nearly 1,400 members, many of whom reside here in LaPorte County, where they contribute to local economy with wages earned by working locally in many capacities, including solar jobs. You will find many here in the audience that are LaPorte County residents, just in case you were worried, Steve. You will find many of them here in the audience today. I would like to express my concern about the proposed changes to the existing solar ordinances. Changes like those proposed are simply designed to kill solar jobs in our county. Not only will it kill the solar farms in the county, it will kill good paying construction jobs that our members and other trades rely on. These jobs are the future, no matter how you look at it. There is a strong movement in the direction of green energy. Solar farms are coming to Northwest Indiana. This is an opportunity for economic boom for LaPorte County. We shouldn't pass up the opportunity for future employment for LaPorte County residents just to watch solar farms be placed in our neighboring communities. As a part of the construction industry, Labor's Local 81 members and other building trades are also relying on the next big project. Not only would a solar farm in our county be a great opportunity for our members who live in the area now, but also long-term opportunities. A project of this size, or any size, would certainly open the door for future economic growth opportunities for the county, its residents, and the members I represent. In closing, I ask you to look at the members that came tonight in support of this project or any future projects in support of good-paying construction jobs, all of whom are LaPorte County residents. We live here, work here, shop here. Our children attend schools here. Instead of asking all roughly 20 members that came here tonight in support to speak in favor of the solar jobs, I'm speaking on their behalf. We strongly encourage you to move this project or any future projects forward so that our members can get to work here at home in our community. Thank you for your time.
What's your number of your union?
Thank you.
Local 81.
81?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yours on, Harold? Harold,
Harold, is your microphone on?
you're the one.
81.
Thank you. All right. Any other administrators for or against?
My name is Bill Dankert. I live at 7606 South Young Road, LaPorte. I'm a little bit nervous out here. I've lost my hearing driving a farm tractor at 1206 International, so I'm hard of hearing. So if I say something wrong or you have any questions, let me know. I'm for the solar. I want to put it on my farmland. On the way here, I talked to a friend who owned a jewelry store here. His name is Dave, played basketball for years, and he said, I'm against solar. So we had a discussion of why. He said, Dave, I don't want to do something that harmful my neighbors. Tell me why you're against solar. I said, we're having a meeting today that we're going to have ordinance changes that will basically end all solar for LaPorte County. And he said, Bill, let me tell you something. I'm against solar. He said, I don't like the idea of farmland being taken out of production into solar. Dave, I said, one thing, I'll tell you something. It's not permanent. This farmland is going to be temporary. I have a bond that says they have to put it back to the farmland when we're finished, 25, 30, 40 years from now. So I said, it's not going to be permanent. He goes, Bill, I didn't realize that. He said, that's a misconception, Dave. I want to find out why you're against it. He said, second thing is, he said, Bill, what about all this harmful to the ground? I said, Dave, I want to tell you something. As a farmer, and there's nothing wrong with farmers, we put chemicals, herbicide, insecticide, fungicide, a lot of things in our crop. I said, when you put a solar farm in, basically it's pasture. There's hardly anything better for ground than pasture. I said, farming's not harmful. I said, but it's pasture is much better, which solar is. He said, Bill, I didn't realize that. He said, let me ask you a question, Bill. He said, what happens if we run out of food? He said, what if we have a bad drought and there's no food for Americans? I said, Dave, I'm going to tell you something. Almost half our corn crop goes into ethanol. I don't know what farmers would do without ethanol. Today, corn is $3.85 for fall delivery Kingsbury elevator. It is a losing proposition for today's farmers at today's prices. We're hoping it gets better. I said, Dave, we have a $2 billion almost surplus of corn every single year. We have corn coming out of our ears. If we ever had a bad, terrible drought, which hasn't happened in almost 35 years, I said, all you have to do is eliminate ethanol mandates. We have all the food we need for the next 50 years. He said, Bill, I didn't realize that. I said, Dave, I think a lot of things is this. I don't want to put something in my neighbors that may be harmful. I said, so I'm glad you're being honest. Most people won't do that to me. I said, but I'm glad you are. I will tell you something. Let me ask you something, Dave. What is less invasive on my farmland that I want to rent temporarily than solar? It's not a housing subdivision. It's not an Amazon building. It's not this and not that. I said, it's not permanent. It's temporary, Dave. I said, what is it? Does it kill birds? Can you see it 20 miles away? He said, well, look, it's unattractive. I said, Dave, unless you live next or drive back to it, and they're going to put some kind of brushes or scenery on there. I said, Dave, maybe it's unattractive to some, not everybody, but is that your only argument? See, he has a lot of things against solar, like a lot of people do here. But I just want to say is this, if everybody can get questions answered, and then you have all the knowledge, and then make a decision. Maybe we'll be against solar, maybe we'll be for it. But let's get all the questions that we have answered and go from there. And that's all I want to say. Thanks for listening. Does anybody have any questions for me before I leave?
All right. Thank you for your time.
Bill.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commission. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
My name is Timothy Powers. I live at 1316 East Washington Street, South Bend, Indiana. I represent Innovative Solar, a local design build firm and solar developer who has been based in the Hoosier State since we were founded in 2008. Many of our employees and business partners are Hoosiers as well. They live and work and play in our northern Indiana communities, including LaPorte County. Our projects that we've worked on over 2 decades now have served schools, commercial and industrial clients, cities, utilities, and they've helped all of them save energy and diversify their energy consumption with clean energy. So I'm here today to, first of all, I guess say as a representative that we are a big fan of responsible solar development, as well as the implementation of solar projects in LaPorte County, being a neighboring, across the border in St. Joe County. In ours and both our partners' experiences, our projects create local jobs and provide both public and private diversified revenue streams for the communities that they're sited inside of. So looking at the draft ordinance that is in front of this commission tonight, it's very clear that every new proposed amendment is meant to act as a ban on any new commercial solar development in LaPorte County. It appears these amendments are borrowed from other counties who attempted to put a default ban on in their counties as well. These amendments are definitely not from the state of Indiana. The state a couple years ago issued a default, it's not a default, like a baseline solar draft ordinance, which was meant to help counties craft their own ordinances and welcome some development and projects into their own counties. LaPorte's current ordinance, to be very clear, is extremely thorough, has a lot of requirements from developers to get permits awarded, and that ordinance currently goes well beyond the state one that I just mentioned. So since 2020, LaPorte County has worked through multiple updates of the current ordinance, including last summer in 2024. And as I said, this is one of the more thorough ordinances in the state, if not the Midwest, that we have seen. A few other items on this current ordinance that us as a developer may be required to fulfill. We have to, projects in the county would have to enter a decommissioning agreement to ensure the project's responsibly decommissioned when it's done operating, a road use agreement, as well as an economic development agreement, all of which are thoroughly reviewed by the respective departments and boards of the county, around the county, prior to any permit being approved. So we certainly understand the county and this planning commission's attention to create an intentional ordinance which protects residences and operations of the county and well-being of everyone who might be near one of these projects. But I just want to say that, in support of this, we have found the county's current ordinance to be thorough but workable. Excuse me. All right. Thank you for the time. I would just suggest this amendment be left alone, out of the ordinance, and the ordinance be kept as it is currently. Thank you.
There are other counties in the state that have the same things in their ordinance as this one. I spoke with county commissioners, county council members, and read over their solar ordinances. So this is not something that we've created, and nowhere in this ordinance is used the word ban.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. What
Steve
was
Hollifield.
No, I was asking for his name.
Tim Powers with Innovative Solar.
Okay.
We're
Thanks,
headquartered
Tim.
in South Bend. Yep.
Thank you. All right. Any others for or against?
Michelle Bonnick, 4888 East, 200 South LaPorte. I'm against solar, all of it, any of it, anywhere in the world. It started with the United Nations, which is a very evil organization. And this is around the world, all of this. Yeah, John, sit there like that.
I'm sorry. What's
It's
that?
evil.
What's that? I didn't hear you.
Evil, and it is evil. It is evil, and it's wrong. We shouldn't have this. We don't have to have it just because the rest of the world or the state has it. We don't have to have it in this county, but they look at it like it's the big cash cow. The county council does that, and you're on it. You are on it. Yeah, I was a voter, but I actually did not vote for you. But so anyway, but it's wrong. Yeah. This whole thing it's just evil. You need to go to the United Nations website. They don't hide it. It's all there. And I've had 2030 agenda training. And there's so much more that you all don't know. And this cash cow thing with the county council, let me tell you something. If this is all about money for the county and greed for these people that are going to lease and get their $250,000 or whatever a month for their 1,000 acres or whatever, and things like that, and it's just greed. I am not against capitalism at all. I am a Republican. I'm actually a conservative. I'll tell you who I am really quick. I am a biblical Christian constitutional conservative, which stands for life and liberty. And making this some cash cow for the county with the property tax they're going to get it when the assessed values go up because the solar thing's going to make all this money, it's wrong. I think if this county came to the Lord, if we all came to the Lord, I'm already there, but if we relied on God and prayed to him, let me tell you, he will fund the county. It will be funded. Absolutely. But nobody wants to be about God. Everyone wants to stay in their sin. And solar panels and arrays and installations are sinful, in my opinion. And I'm not bringing religion into this, but I am bringing God into it. Because he's very much all about all of us. And I'm all about him because he is all about me. And I'll tell you, this should never happen. And they should have never, on that zoning board last year, approved what they approved.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Paul Wyman, 211.
What's your last name?
Paul Wyman, W-Y-M-A-N, 211 Sandy Court, Kokomo, Indiana. I appreciate the opportunity to share a few words with you all this evening. A little background on myself. My real estate company, the Wyman Group, is celebrating its 25th anniversary next year. I spent 16 years in county government, 4 as a county councilman and 12 years as county commissioner in Howard County. And also last year, Governor Holcomb appointed me to the Indiana Land Use Task Force Committee at the state based on the work that I had done as a county commissioner pertaining not only to solar and wind projects, but also my experience in real estate and understanding in 25 years land uses. And so tonight I'm here for several reasons. First and foremost, anytime there's restrictions that might prohibit the advancement of industry or a company in your community, I've been asked to speak around the state on this topic in a number of communities that have proposed restrictions and ordinances. So to your point, Steve, we're not talking about ban. We're just talking about the level of opportunity for a company to come in and actually set up shop and do business. But more importantly, where I come from on this and all my years of experience and work on these types of projects is understanding what the true demand for energy really is. And if you look at any energy study, you will see that between now and the year 2050, there will be a 50% demand in energy. And I'll just tell you, as a conservative Republican, I love my fossil fuel. Love it. But I'll tell you what I love equally as much is renewable energy. And the reason why is because I understand with that demand coming, fossil fuel cannot meet that demand by itself in 2050. It will take a mixture of fossil fuel and renewable energy. And so in Howard County, the work that we did to work on our solar projects and to work with our neighboring county, Tipton County, on the wind farms was to ensure that there was an opportunity for renewable energy to play a role in that. And in Kokomo, you may have heard and seen where we have a new battery plant and one now coming in New Carlisle. And so the advancement of those types of technologies is critically important. So 2 quick things I want to point out. 23 million acres of land in the state of Indiana. 340,000 acres were taken out of service for work such as real estate development and those sorts of things in the 12 years prior to me serving on the Land Use Task Force. That's 0.0012% per year were lost in land value or land. In that same exact 12-year period, productivity went up. The technologies in farm and the production of food is critically important. So just as much as we are consuming food, we are consuming energy at the same or a higher rate. And the last thing I'll share with you, I realize my time is up, is that we have in my company an extensive property value study for probably the last 7-8 years. It's one of the most comprehensive property value studies on wind farms and solar because we have them in our region. And I'd be glad to share any of that with you, but I can tell you emphatically that our property value study will show that there is no impact on property values in wind farm area and or the solar areas that are happening currently in Howard County. And so with any of that, I'd be glad to answer any questions. And if you ever need any additional information when it comes to things like property values and energy uses and the development work that we've done, I'd be glad to share that with you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you.
Hi. Hello. My name's Richard Parker. My address is 9122 West Joliet Road, LaPorte, Indiana, New Durham Township. I have 70 acres there, which I'm under contract with Pattern Energy, along with Parker Farms. Farms my property they have for the last 38 years, either Parker Farms or the family. The reason I'm for solar on my property, I'm not pushing it on anybody else. I don't care what you do up on the east end. I don't care on the south, but my property that I've been on for over 40 years, I think I ought to have a pretty good run at what I do there, as long as it's safe and doesn't violate or hurt anybody else. And I don't see where the solar does, in my opinion. Now, the big thing with me is I don't farm. Like I said, my brother and his family have farmed it for 38 years. I'm a retired operating engineer, Local 150, and pretty darn proud of that. This solar contract that I have, when it goes through, if it gets past all of this, someone else telling me what to do with my property that I've owned forever, put my life's work into, this is going to set up my next generation. It passes seamlessly. Then it goes to my 4 grandkids. This isn't just something fly by night. I've been working on this for 10 years. And, I hope you see past just what you got going. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any others for or against the petition this evening? Guess it's not a petition.
Oh, boy.
Good evening. My name is Dan Straka. I live at 8136 5th Street in Highland, Indiana. I want to talk specifically about some of the line items in this ordinance. We'll go to Section 3, Solar Energy Systems General, subsection 2, where it states large-scale solar energy systems, where the amendment or proposed amendment for 2,400 acres of farmland as a land cap is proposed. I can completely understand wanting to conserve land here in LaPorte County. I myself am a conservative and believe that sometimes we do have a little bit too much development. However, land caps are restrictions on your residents to use their land as they choose. So I'd like to propose something that maybe meets in the middle of residents being able to use their land and the county not being overrun by something. And that would be about 10,000 acres, somewhere around there. We'll move to the next section where it says total use of land for a single large-scale solar energy project to not exceed 400 acres. Again, I could go over how this is restricting your residents to using their lands, restricting their private property rights, but I would suggest moving that total acres not to exceed 400 acres to 4,000 acres. That will give a little bit more leeway for your residents to use their land as they choose. I'm going to move on to That's page 5, so section J, subsection C. The setback, we'll actually just talk about setbacks in general, A through C. Instead of the mile setback from waterways and the non-participating landowners not having solar on two sides, and the 1,000-foot setbacks from property lines of non-participating owners, I suggest you do what Allen County did just a few weeks ago, taking their suggestion of 1,000 feet setbacks down to 400 feet setbacks. It allows for development. It doesn't totally cut off development, but it does still allow for those protections that you're looking for those non-participating landowners. I believe that's all I have as far as line items in your ordinance, but I got 23 seconds, so I'm going to use them. We've been at this discussion table quite a bit here in LaPorte County. I know I've been here. Me and Commissioner Hollifield have butted heads back and forth, and I have the utmost respect for everyone on this board and the job that you're doing here in LaPorte County. I want to offer Land and Liberty as a resource. We work on these ordinances all the time, and I want to make sure that you're able to protect your non-participating and participating landowners so that your landowners can continue to use their private property as they see fit. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, good evening. My name is Steve Miller. I live on 988 North, 250 East in LaPorte. I've been to several of these meetings here, seen how they've gone and that, and it looks like the farmers and that, those that participating in the solar farm are coming out real good. Across the road from me, 50 foot, starts the solar farm. I'm on the west side of the solar farm. And so the thing that I'm not seeing is people that live on the other side of the road aren't being taken care of. The farmers are presumably going to get 3 to 4 times their income that they make on a farm. They can sell their farm machinery, go to Hawaii, everything's working great. If my house was on the other side of the road, presumably, from what I understand, I would get $5,000 for each side my house faces a solar farm. Now, I don't know if this is correct or not, but this is my understanding of what was in there. On our side, we get nothing. I've approached the meetings and that and mentioned, okay, why don't we get something, possibly like a reduction in our property tax? My daughter tells me with that solar farm on the other side of the road, we're not going to get the same as it wasn't there. So at that point in time, we get nothing at all. Why can't we at least get the electricity from the solar farm? Anybody that can see that solar farm should get their electric bill paid for. So it looks like I have at least 1 or 2 people that see that you need to take care of both sides. It's just like being born on the wrong side of the town or the good side of the town. And it looks like I moved to the wrong side to where if I had acreage over there, I could retire the rest of my life. But the way it is now, I basically get nothing in that. And that's the way it looks like it's going to go down in that. So there's the concerns that I think this committee needs to look at and say, okay, what can we do for these folks here? The other thing that I brought up, I can see I got a minute left here, is the fact that I looked at the drawings in that for the solar farm in that. And one of the things I brought up was that on those layouts of it, is that they had 75% was deciduous plants. Or evergreens. 75% was evergreens. 25% was deciduous. When those leaves fall off that 25%, we're going to see the solar farm in that. So my understanding, when the last meeting I was with, the person that was the manager of this project said, okay, we can do 100% of that. I don't know if that's going to go down, but that's something the committee needs to think of. If people want flowers out there or blooming trees, okay. But in the wintertime, those leaves are going to fall off and you're basically going to get nothing out of it. So that needs to be something that's concerned. The other thing is that I live probably 5 miles or 3 miles from a town that's called Roaring Prairie, and we've got hills in Roaring Prairie. That's why it's called Roaring Prairie. And so the field across me has a 15-foot rise. If they put 12 panels on it, it'll take me 30 years before that 5-foot evergreen that they're going to put in there is going to cover those panels up. So you need to consider that we're getting nothing on that as far as immediate coverage as far as not seeing those panels in it. So we're not basically getting anything out of it, and we're getting detrimental for the next 20, 30 years before those plants get up there high enough where it's going to screen it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others for or against?
Name is Dale Tulsky, 3564 East, 400 South, LaPorte. Like many of you, I've heard a lot of concerns about solar farms. As a farmer, I take these concerns seriously. I spent decades trying to protect the soil, not damage it. I use no-till methods and cover costs because I care about the long-term health of the land. So when I first heard about solar panels going on land, I had questions too. But I took time to read up on it. Here's the truth. These panels don't leak chemicals on the ground. They don't poison the soil. If anything, they're a chance to let the land rest, like long-term fallow. And many of these projects include native grass, wildflowers planted under the panels, which helps pollinators and prevent erosion. Farming is a blessing. It's not always easy. Every farmer here deals with unpredictable prices, rising input costs, and extreme weather. A solar release is sometimes finding a way to keep a family farm alive. Steady income can make the difference between holding on to land or being forced to sell it off. Panels in fields are thankfully temporary. As lease ends, they come out, and land go back right back into row crops, often healthier than before. Solar is not the right fit for every acre or family. We should not shut the door on it completely. Setting smart, balanced rules can protect the community and give farmers options. If we make it nearly impossible to do so, that feels short-sighted. We should be the kind of county that looks ahead, supports working farms, and takes conservation seriously, not just in words, but in action. We hope we keep listening to each other, that we stay curious and make decisions based upon facts, not just today, but for generations too. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others this evening for or against the ordinance draft?
Hi, I'm Deb Allison. I'm at 5791 East State Road 104, Walkerton, but it's LaPorte County. Retired. Helped my husband farm for the last 42 years, and I'm sorry, no on solar for farmland.
Thank you.
Me.
Good evening, Plan Commission members. Tony Hendricks, 6833 West Linda Lane. I know you worked very hard on this solar ordinance, and we've come a long way over the years. But you need, as what's going to happen with this ordinance you have in front of you, I think you need to ask your legal attorney, your advice, to protect yourself as Plan Commission members. In my opinion, what you have in this ordinance is a de facto exclusion. It's not a ban. You don't say ban. I think you need to ask your county planner. I think you need to ask your GIS person before, at a minimum, you need to table this. At a maximum, you need to deny this. This picture here, and I'll give this to you when I'm done, is all the property owners in LaPorte County. Oh, full disclosure, I'm a licensed surveyor in the state of Indiana. I am working with Hoosier Solar to help people who would like to put their farms in solar if they would choose. So this ordinance that you have in front of you is 1,000 feet from property lines. Non-participating part where they are not participating or not. This picture here is 1 mile from the fine waterways. You see the picture behind there? The photo, what's left? Nearly nothing. This picture here, wetlands. That's why I say this is a de facto exclusionary ordinance you're seeking to pass. This here picture is the wetlands and the waterways. Even less ground that anyone's even available to permit solar on. This picture here is all three. Waterways, wetlands, property setbacks. There is no land left. If you'd like to pass a ban on solar, please be honest with the public and do that. Don't put things in here that you know are not a ban, but they're a de facto exclusion. The Supreme Court just ruled a case a month ago where people were tired of going to local courts, and they went to the federal court. The Supreme Court had to rule on that. The Supreme Court said the government may not target a business or industry through stringent and allegedly unlawful regulation, and then evade the resulting lawsuits by claiming the targets of the regulation should be locked out of court. Village of Euclid versus Ambler Realty Company, a zoning ordinance is not unconstitutional unless it's clearly arbitrary and unreasonable, having no substantial relation to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Pennsylvania Coal versus McMahon. If a regulation goes too far, it will be recognized that the taking for compensation must be paid. You have an ordinance here asking for a maximum amount, 2,400 acres. Again, you need to ask your attorney his advice. You are commission members who are protected by this attorney. If you make decisions and do not follow his advice, you can be liable personally. The 14th Amendment does not allow people in different zoning ordinances to be treated differently. Zoning ordinance covers the whole zoning. You cannot say 2,400 acres. In my opinion, 2,400 acres is the maximum allowed in the zoning. It covers the whole zone. And the last thing is de facto or partial exclusion when an ordinance permits a specific use but fails to provide sufficient land or negates the practical development of that use. This type of exclusion relies upon the fair doctrine. If a municipality provides too little to accommodate a land for use which demand is forecast, the zoning ordinance could be considered exclusionary. If a municipality permits land but through its regulations but prohibits the practical development of use, it also could be exclusionary. I think the one thing you are missing in this ordinance that would be very wise, because you've worked very hard to get to the point we are now, you don't give people who are non-participating adjacent owners to waive the setback. Maybe they're fine with it. Maybe they're going to work a deal with a neighbor and get some money. Who knows? But what you're asking for is to take people's land rights away. Farmers might need to do solar. We had the highest producing crops in America all time last year. Corn and beans are down. The subsidies this year were sent. Corn was $42, soybeans was $29, wheat was $30. They needed subsidies just to plant the crops. They might come to this season, might not have any money. We went through this in the 80s with farm aid. We remember what happened. People lost their farm. And this ordinance seeks to take it away from them.
Okay.
I hope you would move on and at minimum table until you get the information you need from your GIS director, your planner, on if this is exclusionary or not, and if the county is going to be liable for trying to take away the rights of people and their farmers. Thank you.
I started farming in the 80s. I remember what they're like.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any other for or against the ordinance draft this evening?
William Allison, 5791 East State Road 104, Walkerton, LaPorte County, though. All I gotta say is the neighbors around these things that don't want them have property rights too. Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Peter Gorka, and I am presently living in rural Fulton County. I will further explain that. I had lived in LaPorte County since the fall of 1979 until relocating to Fulton County due to an employment change in the fall of 1996. I purchased and have owned this farm property since the spring of 1991, diligently paying my property taxes on both properties when they were due. I address you, the members of the LaPorte County Planning Board, regarding the recent proposal increasing the county's required setback for new construction. I have spent many months with the representatives of Innovative Solar, working out leasing agreement to build a commercial solar collector system on a portion of my farm. The setback proposal could very well jeopardize the construction and adversely affect my financial situation. This action by the board effectively legislates against my ability to use my property in any reasonable way that I choose and severely restricts my decisions regarding the use of that property. In fact, using reasonable engineering estimates and also that 1 acre equals 43,560 square feet is a given, that proposed setback of 1,000 feet or yet alone 10,000 feet would completely eliminate the parcel for consideration. Ever since acquiring the farm, it has been actively cash rented by Steve Hollifield for grain and hay production, and partially along with his father when I first acquired it. The proposed solar project would still keep the property in production, providing needed, clean, renewable sourced electricity. This additional electricity availability could be a strong draw to new industries with the potential of increased employment and additional county tax base. If this solar project is allowed to proceed without further enacted restrictions, I can be part of that increased tax base with the installation on my farm of the equipment to generate and transmit that electricity. I can be part of that clean, renewable sourced electricity availability. I can be a part of the potential increased industrial investment and employment as a result of that voltage availability. I can be part of that resulting increase of tax revenue as a result of that availability. And I urge you, so can you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Okay. Any other administrators for or against the solar draft this evening? Anyone else? Okay. All right, hearing none. I guess we will move on to discussion with,
Yeah, I think you should close the public hearing.
okay, one more chance. Okay, at this time, we are going to close the, all right, one more.
Lori Johnston, 5704 East, 200 North, Rolling Prairie. What I don't see in the proposed ordinance is testing for the soil or testing for the water. These solar projects are too new. What do we know is going to happen in 30 years? We don't. The decommissioning, do we know how that's going to go? We don't. This is all something new. We need to hold off and see what could happen. The poles that they pound 10 feet into the ground are galvanized. What does galvanized posts do in the soil? The water, the Kankakee aqua filter is only 50 feet below ground level. And a lot of that, I hear, is going to go to the Amazon. So what about the rest of us? Is my water going to be safe in 30 years? These are things I'd like you to do more research on. Does anybody know what a decommissioned solar field looks like? Do they just cut them off at the ground level? Do they pull those miles and miles of cable up? Or do they just cut everything off and walk away? We don't know. It's too new. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will close public comment at this particular time. And, okay. Look for discussion with the board members.
Every one of these ordinances we've looked at across the state, they have some of the similar things in them. Some of the state counties have far stricter requirements than this. Now, the landowners do have the right to do what they want, but you don't have the right to affect your neighbors. How many of you would be upset if we put in 10,000 hogs next door to you? Nowadays, if to go through that, a hog farm or a cattle farm or anything else has to jump through a lot of hoops. All this had to do was two simple words: special exception. The people in this county, the majority that I've spoken with who contacted me, really don't want these things. That's just my statement.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I move to table this motion to next month to allow the solar committee to meet again and talk about the suggestions from the public hearing and also seek advice from our legal counsel.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion regarding tabling the solar ordinance draft issue till next month?
Question I have is, if we're waiting a month, can they apply for a permit under this old ordinance? Or they have to wait till it's
First of all, we don't know who they is. Secondly, we've been working on this for 3.5 years. Okay, let's be clear.
Yeah, we are.
All right. The second draft that we left on, and the public needs to know this, the current draft, not the one they want to change, was on the agenda for a year while we were waiting for comments from the public and input. And not one time did anybody show up and help us. And this was brand new. Okay. So, yeah, they could apply, but it still be set for a hearing before the BZA.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Wait till they're finished. Okay, we will.
So if I overheard that correctly, there would have to be another public hearing if we did make a change.
Yeah, if you make a change, we'll have to have another public hearing, right?
Okay.
All right.
So no.
So we have a motion on the table to table the solar ordinance draft for another month so that we can concur with the attorney and get some more information before we move forward with any other changes. Could we do a roll call vote as to the tabling of the ordinance, please?
For or against?
That's what you're
How's
gonna.
that voted?
That's what you're. That's what
For
you're.
is where, for the tabling,
Yes.
against is against the tabling.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes to table, no to not table.
Rita Beatty,
Yes.
Steve Hollifield,
Nay.
Harold Parker,
Yes.
Joe Tuholsky,
Yes.
John Carr,
Yes.
Jimmy Pressel,
Yes.
Eric Poynton,
Yes.
John Matwishin,
Yes.
Andy Chilpachik.
Yes.
Okay, it is tabled.
All right, motion is tabled So solar ordinance draft review will be tabled for till the next meeting, which will be July. All right. Thank you. Any other new business for this evening?
Yes, Madam President, I think we need to reestablish the solar committee because we've lost a member.
Excuse me, we still need to finish our meeting here. If we could please refrain from visiting until the meeting's over. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
I think we lost one or more members of our committee, so it should be reestablished, the solar committee.
Oh, okay.
So we just need to have one member to replace John Watson. Do you have any volunteers?
I'm already on there.
Rita?
Was that a question? Who do,
Oh, you want to be on it?
Who do we have on the committee at this particular time?
Eric and Steve.
Okay.
Harold, Eric, and Steve are currently on the committee.
How about John?
I attended the meeting.
You want to volunteer?
Yes, well, I assumed I was on the meeting.
Yeah. On the committee. I nominate John.
I wasn't sure that you were on there. I just thought we'd just let you sit in.
I think he showed up to the meeting that got canceled and then stayed, is what happened.
Okay, so we got Harold, Eric, Steve, and now John?
Yes.
All right, is that good? Is that enough for you?
That's
All
four of them.
Four of them?
Can't have a quorum. So I guess that's four.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we'll add John to that committee. All right, any other new business?
Last month, we, Jimmy and I attended a tour of the data center in Hammond, and it's quite impressive. I think they could be a very good economic development for this county. And speaking with other commissioners and council members across the state, tomorrow morning I have a phone call with Thornburg, Blackburn out of Indianapolis to discuss what the counties are doing. I think we need to get ahead of this and see what the other counties are doing because we've got them coming here, and I think we need to come up with some kind of an ordinance to handle these and see what they're using. Some counties are just treating them as another industrial development, but I think we need to, since we have a committee started for this, I think we need to look at that in the next couple of months.
Whatever happened, that one on Boyd they were going to start. They bought ground for it.
Oh, that's pushed off till 28. That's pushed off till 28, I think, according to city.
Bars Farm.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Steve. Anything else? Any other new business? All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Motion,
When is that next meeting, Ashley?
July 22nd.
I have my calendar.
I think.
22nd.